Hey, everybody. Welcome to the first live stream seminar with Jenna and Rob from Calvary RV. I'm going to bring them in now. Welcome them into the stage here. How you guys doing?
We're good. How are you?
Yeah.
Not too bad. All right. I have your presentation as well. Let me bring that up. There's your presentation.
Yeah. Wow. Look at
And
that.
all right, I am going to remove myself quick so you can start, and then I'll bring myself back in when needed.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, thanks for having us on and the flock, uh, Rob and
Jenna?
Jenna, and we are mobile RV techs under Calvary RV Services, which you have at the top of your screen. We're RVTAA as well as Aquahot and Victron Energy certified. And as part of our company, we have the Glittery Glamper.
So I do fairy hair.
So you will see us at a number of rallies, particularly the flock rallies are our favorites. And so what we're going to go through today is really, we thought we'd just talk about preparing your RV for a new camping season, what to consider. And, it's a little bit of a risk because, I know a lot of you have been RVing for a number of years. You have probably extensive checklists and things you do to get ready for the season. But hopefully, if anything, you take one or two of these things away just to remember as you get ready to get unburied from the snow. If you're in the snow area, it was pretty cold here today. What was it, 82? I think. Yeah, and it was sunny though, so it was 82 and sunny here in Florida. So we're happy to be talking to you from here. Okay. All right. The first category really is what I consider the initial inspection and really focused around safety items, right? And big items. So obviously the external shell of your RV is incredibly important. So you want to really look over the entire exterior for cracks, leaks, or damage. I have a picture here of a very recent RV that I resealed the roof on, and you can see clearly that that there was a big gap in the seal there, as well as some screws that popped up and things like that. Things that you could see pretty obviously as you walk around your roof or look around the exterior, things like doors and windows and compartment doors. Second is really looking at you want to test your propane and carbon monoxide detectors. And for those that may not know, the propane detector does have a shelf life. It's typically 5 years from the date of manufacturer. So if you got your coach and let's say it was a year old when you got it and you've had it for 3 or 4 years, be a really good idea to pull that out and there'll be a date on the back to take a look at it. And after that, it really doesn't operate well. They're easy to switch out. So it's a pretty easy task. And then just like at home, your carbon monoxide and smoke detectors are important. You want to look at your fire extinguishers. Hopefully you have a couple of them in your rig. I think the standard is one by the door that the RV industry has to do. But it's always a good idea to have one or two, particularly back in the bedroom as well. And just checking those to make sure they're ready, if you would need them, and hopefully you never need them. And then checking out first aid kits, making sure they're up to date as well and not spoiled inside. It's pretty good to have. I don't know if we talk about it later on, but you want to mention the go bag, what we do for that?
Oh, so we have a go bag that we keep. We're in a motorized RV, so we keep it by the door. Also, keep it back by the bedroom, by the emergency exit when we're camping somewhere. In this go bag, we have a week's worth of our medications and any of our dogs' medications. I also have an extra harness and leash for each of our dogs. Just things that if we were to have to use the emergency exit in the middle of the night, that we could not replace quickly or easily. So just that kind of stuff. And so what I do the first of every month, I pull out the medications from the go bag and I refill it, and we use those, and then I refill it with fresh ones just so that they don't expire while they're sitting in there. Just a good idea to keep stuff like that handy.
And you mentioned at the beginning, but when we're driving and we have a motorized, but even if you were towing something, carrying the go bag in your car makes a lot of sense, or truck makes a lot of sense as well. Okay. I think Don's going to entertain questions at the end. So at this point, if people ask us questions or type them, I don't know that we could even see them.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
We can
All
hear you.
right. I unplugged the mic and plugged it back in. Works like a champ.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I figured we wait till you're done with this and then we'll entertain all questions. It'd just be easier that way.
Okay. And I know you were going to start us off by singing a song. Do you want to jump in now and do that, or?
No, I'm eating potato
Okay.
chips. It's my dinner for tonight.
Okay. All right. Then we'll keep going.
You keep going. I'm going to disappear again.
All right. Okay. And again, we've tried to make this universal for motorized and non-motorized. There'll be some specific items on one and the other, but you really want to look at brakes, hitch, tires, and chassis, and that goes for both motorized and non-motorized. You want to check tire pressure as always. That should be a pre-trip item, but definitely want to check it before your first time out. You want to look at the tread depth and age. We're going to talk about how to read that age on the next slide. You want to look at the tires. And again, these are things you're likely doing every pre-trek or pre-trip or every couple of trips. You're looking for uneven wear. You're looking for cracks along the side and between the treads. And of course, if it's stored for a long time, you'd really want to look for dry rot. You want to take the opportunity to torque those lug nuts, particularly if you're on a travel trailer or a towable. Just make sure they're tightened up once and good for the season, depending how much you're going to travel. You want to look at the suspension and brakes. I don't think this is too in depth here, but just making sure the springs are in good working order. You don't see anything crazy as you're looking through the tires at the brakes. Then, of course, you want to test your brakes and emergency brake. And that includes whether you're towing a car or towing your RV, doing that unplug with the hitch just to make sure you could hear those brakes engage in case you become disengaged from your tow vehicle or your tow vehicle from your motorized unit from your towed. So you want to do that. If on our towable, for example, I'll have Jenna stand by the tires and we'll hit the brakes, make sure she can hear those connect and slow the car. And of course, we do a full test when we're starting our drive as well. And then lubing the chassis and axles. And this is really different between the type of RV and the make and model you have as well. So you should have guidelines that came with your that come with your RV to follow. If not, you could probably find them online, but giving them a good lube and getting them ready to go. All right. Again, many of you may know this, but how to look at your tires. So on your tires, there's an oval. An oval, it should have 4 digits in it. Like this example is 2319. The first 2 digits are the week of the year, and the second 2 are the year. So in this case, it was 2319. It's the 23rd week of 2019. We often get asked, well, how often do tires last? And it obviously differs on a lot of things, right? And oddly enough, it's unlikely you're going to wear your tires out before they age out if they're on the RV. I hope so. I mean, that means you're RVing a lot, and that's great news. But otherwise, for travel trailer, for towables, because they take a lot more torque, as you're turning, you're backing into a site, especially if you get into double and triple axle towables, those tires flex a lot and undergo a lot of stress and strain. So those are typically going to age out around 5 years. And so if you get beyond 5 years with those, it's highly recommended to change those out. On motorized, if you have a Class B or a Class C or an A, it really, because those tires are made differently and they're made for road wear, kind of like your car, it really is more 5 to 7 years that you can have those tires go as well. But again, this is how you would check that, and then it's always good to switch them out before you even see signs of cracking and things. You just don't want to face that on the road. All right, electrical systems. So, particularly after a long winter, and I know folks up north are having a long winter, you really want to test those house, and if you have chassis batteries that have gone unused, if you have a motorized as well. I encourage you to check the voltage of the batteries, make sure they're good. Some of you will have had them in dry storage. You're going to put them on a battery charger, you're going to charge them up, you're going to test them. But once you put them in the RV, test those again and test them with your converter on and converter off. If you have a lead acid battery and let's say the normal resting voltage at 100% is like 12.7, that's great. You should see 12.7. When you flick on the converter, it should be around 13.6. If you're seeing those two voltages, that's a really good sign. It doesn't necessarily mean your battery has a lot of life, but at least it's starting on the right end. There are official load testers you could buy for batteries as well. But another simple test for me is if you have an inverter in your towable or your motorized, turn off shore power. Let's see how the battery runs the inverters. So, for example, I had a customer whose batteries were measuring at a decent voltage, particularly with the converter on, but even with the converter off, they started at a decent voltage. We turned off shore power, tried to kick on like the microwave, and immediately everything went dark. It just couldn't handle that load. So that's a good quick test if you have an inverter to see how your batteries are doing. On flooded batteries, typical batteries, AGM or your typical just straight up your wet batteries, 4 years of life. So if you see a date this year that's starts at 2022 or before, it's unlikely that battery is going to last through the season, and it may be a good time to proactively change that. Obviously with lithium batteries, and I'm happy to answer any questions around that. They are rated to be 5 to 10 years. Most people I know are getting close to 10 out of them. But that's probably a whole different topic on lithium versus regular batteries. You want to clean the battery terminals. It's great to use that dielectric grease, put them on there, protect those battery terminals as well. I also encourage once a year to go through your entire rig and tighten every electrical connection you can. Again, as you go down the road, those loosen up. And as you go through the cold and warmth of winter, those connections will also loosen up. So, going into your distribution panel where your circuit breakers are and your fuses are, just going in there with that, that square bit and tightening each one, just making sure they're all tight. All your grounds are tight, all your neutrals are tight, everything around, inspect your shore power cord, all those connections, you just want to give them a good once over. Of course, everything around your batteries and those terminals as well. And then, lastly, you're going to really test your interior and exterior lighting, making sure everything works and you don't need any new bulbs. It's also a good sign to see if there isn't a bigger problem. You could have a bad ground and certain things aren't going to work. All right. Plumbing and water systems. Okay, it's again recommended to flush and sanitize your freshwater system. There's lots of documents online or YouTubes on how to do that with bleach, or there's some new products out there. We've been using one by Blue Technologies that we're a big fan of, a sanitizer, because it can be used all the way through your hot water tank, and so I think or your water heater. I think that's it's a good option, but there's nothing wrong with bleach and using that approach as well. It just takes a little bit longer, and you have to be a little bit more careful with it. Inspect hoses and fittings for leaks. I was just talking to somebody today, and they're asking what to look for on an RV in general. And gosh, I hate flexible tubing. And I'll show you one example why on the next slide. But those fittings become loose. They weep, they leak. But so just making sure you go through and if you have any of those types of fittings where the flexible hose, whether it's the white braided hose or colored braided hose, tighten those connections. You want to test your water pump and water heater, making sure they work, they fire up, all is good. If you have an anode rod in your water heater, and so for those that have them, they know you're going to cool off your water heater, drain it, and you're going to inspect that anode rod. And that's a sacrificial rod that is going to protect the rest of your water heater. So you want to make sure that's in really good shape. It doesn't have to be perfect or pristine, but there has to be a lot of meat on that bone. And if you pull it out, you'll know what I'm talking about. Flushing the water heater, because minerals and things like that do sink toward the bottom of that. And then drain and clean your holding tanks, which is probably something you're typically doing anyway. So this is something recent job I had, especially when your rig may be parked near a field, parked next to a garage, whatever. Particularly in the cold weather, rodents love to crawl up and inside. And when they need water, they're going to try to chew through things to get to liquid. They may not know that you have it winterized or not winterized. And, this particular coach that we had up against the field, and I stopped counting, but I think there was 15 different leaks. All throughout the underbelly of the coach, and it takes quite a bit to repair those and can cause a lot of damage. All right, propane. For those of you who have propane, which I think most do, particularly in the Jayco family, you want to just check all your connections, look at your lines, your regulator, your tanks. Your tanks do have an age, as most of you know, if you try to turn in your grill tank or get it filled. You want to test your stove, you want to test your furnace, you want to test your refrigerator if it has a propane option. You're going to look for leaks, right? And one way to do it is using your nose, and you can smell ethyl
mercaptan.
There you go. See, she knows that. It's the chemical that's added to propane that makes it smell. But some people could smell it better than others. So there are propane detectors that you could use. Obviously, the one you have installed in your coach, but there's ones that you could use in a localized area if you want. There's also a more comprehensive test that's called a time pressure drop test, which you have to buy some equipment for. But if we ever see you at a rally, that's one of the services we provide as well. And then you want to make sure you also clean your appliance vents, right? Especially again after winter, whether it's birds, mice, wasps, mud daubers, whatever. They love all those vents, including the ones to your furnace, your water heater, and your refrigerator. And then if you happen to have a washer dryer, same thing. All right. I think one slide here on engine and generators is a lot of you will have generators, but you want to take an opportunity to do your oil change and filters at the correct interval. Maybe you did that before you put it in the storage, so it's not imminent. You want to look at any coolants or belts. If you're looking at your engine, tighten all the hose clamps. Same thing as I mentioned about the water, same thing I mentioned about the electrical, with the changes in temperature, each one of those hose clamps. And I can't tell you how many stories I heard of people arriving here in Florida that blew off the radiator hose and just a loose clamp at that point. Now you want to test your generator under load. You want to run your generator every, for 30 minutes every month. And you want to do that under load. So you want to fire up your air conditioners or your, if it's still cold out, fire up your heat pumps. You want to run whatever you can to at least get it up to 50% of the load of that generator and let it run for 30 minutes. If you do that regularly, your generator will really continue to operate normally. And then check your exhaust system. Same thing, just looking for anything that may be blocking it or impacting it. The other thing we encourage people to do is really set your plan for preventive maintenance for the year. All right. You're excited to get out on your first trip. You've done everything I've said, which there's a lot of preventive maintenance there as well, but you're just getting everything checked out so you could drive away safely. You want to consider at some point during the season doing your AC annual maintenance. Happy to go in more detail on that. If for some of the larger motorized homes, they'll have an aquahot, which is a hydronic heating system that requires annual maintenance. Your generator requires annual maintenance. We already talked about tank cleaning, sanitizing, water heater flush. Again, you might not be able to get to the water heater flush before you take off for the first time, but make sure it gets on the schedule later on. You want to keep those door and blade seals. There's lots of different opinions on what to use. We do use a rubber protector on ours, but they say that Dawn, dish soap and some water are good too, but you want to make sure those are all freshened up entirely around your rig. That's more of a monthly or every other monthly thing for me, but you definitely want to do that at the beginning of the season as well. If your roof looks good, but it's getting about the time where you're starting to see some cracks, it's getting a little bit dry, if you press on the sealant and it's hard, that's when you really want to plan to do a full roof seal and go through each element on the roof and use that die core to seal that up. I also recommend, because it's a lot of work, either A, you have somebody else do it, or B, break it up. Like do sections of your roof, sections of your rig, whether it's the one, do the passenger side, do the driver's side, do the front, do the back, do them, a couple weeks apart. But if you just rotate through them, you can get them done and get them done safely. And then, anything that's a hole in the side of the rig, we all know what water can do to rigs. You just want to make sure you're using a good silicone sealant around the side of the rigs. Not silicone on the roof. I want to be clear. There you want to use a lap sealant of some sort and silicone on the side. And then really on our last slide here, when you're getting ready to do it, test all your systems. Run your AC for a while or your heat pump. Run your furnace for a while. Run your fridge for a while. Because again, you might, in those earlier checks, you're just checking to make sure power is getting there. You don't have any shorts. You're just firing them up for a little bit. Give them a good run. That way, when you get out on the road, you know for sure that they were in good working order. The stock safety and emergency supplies, that goes back to the the go bag that Jenna talked about. But other things like we carry fluorescent cones with us. We have a fluorescent vest. So if I have to exit the RV on the side of the road, I'm going to put on a vest. Things like that. Keep a maintenance log, and even if you have a great rock solid memory for yourself, it's really nice during resale if you could hand somebody a log that says, hey, here's everything I did every year, and here's the timing. That goes a long way to preserving the value of your rig as well. And then making sure you take things out just for a short test drive, making sure that everything's turning freely, brakes don't engage when they aren't supposed to, and they do when you need them to. All right. It's a lot of talking. But hey, it was about 20 minutes, which was our target. And
that tired me out with all the talking.
Yeah.
All right. If anybody out there has any questions, and it could be with anything, not just what he did here, but any questions at all with your RVs or anything, post them. Or since I got full control of this, we can be brave. And what I'll do is let me post it here, and I'm going to put out a link. Click on that link that's in the comments, and I'll bring you on the screen if you want, and we can talk to them on the screen. So, and I know there is a delay of like 10 seconds right now between us now and what shows on Facebook, so we'll give it a few to see if anybody wants to talk. If anybody's got any questions.
Yeah, we're happy to talk about RV maintenance, upgrades, barrier. For those that don't know us, we are full-timers in our rig, and us and our two pups travel around. So happy to talk about anything.
I was going to give you a good introduction, but my mic decided against it.
Yeah. All right.
So, and I got to get on your schedule for New York. I do an air conditioner cleaning.
All right.
On the top, the fins and everything.
Yep. It's good to look at them at least once a year, and particularly if you sit in any kind of dusty or under trees or those kind of things that are really what that you can get a lot of gunk on them, and that dramatically reduce. And if you have pets and things inside the rig too, if you like to have your windows open all the time and you're next to a campfire and all that stuff, those are the kind of things you really require regular AC maintenance.
All right. Joe Lyon has a question, but he doesn't see the link. So
I remember Joe Lyon.
Yeah.
yeah.
Hopefully his cable slide is still working well.
Let's see if I can try it this way. There. Now let's see. It shared it with the audience. Can you see the comments or no?
We don't see
No?
any comments.
Right here, let me-
Okay. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I do. We clicked on comments here.
Okay. Here we go. Then I'll take it off the screen. But Bill has a comment for you or a question.
Okay, yeah. Is there any type of maintenance that needs to be done on solar panels on the roof? So, yes, I'd say there's. It's fairly minor. You know, there's not any moving parts with solar panels, so that's nice. You know, obviously keeping them clean. You know, especially after winter, if they've had ice or snow on them, you want to make sure they're not damaged or cracked. I would, you know, particularly if they were under ice or snow, I would check the voltage. You know, like I would, you know, pop open those the plugs that go into your roof and test your voltage. You know, again, it depends on each panel, but typically panels are supposed to operate at 20-ish volts, and just make sure that if you have some good light, you're still getting 20 volts. And really that's about it. If you have more than one solar panel and you have a solar controller, you know, you can look at a lot of stats and things through your solar controller, and you don't even have to do that specific check. You can look just on your app or on your screen on your solar controller and check that out as well.
All right, Joe, have you seen the link yet?
Oh, the only other thing I'd mention is just, again, it goes with the sealing of the roof. Just make sure that, you know, where those solar panels connect to the roof is still well sealed.
All right. Any other questions? Oh,
All right.
Joe.
Can I check my brakes by checking voltage around the brakes? I was thinking doing this when I had everything off while repacking my bearings. Yeah, so you definitely can. And now I'm really going back in my memory banks at what the voltage should be. But yeah, like if you pull that plug that disconnects from the vehicle and those brakes engaged, you can test the voltage going into the brakes and make sure you're getting good voltage to those brakes. You know, when you're connected to the vehicle, you're going off your vehicle's voltage, so it should be pretty good. It's really most critical to check it when that plug is out, but you should be able to do that and see if you have 12 volts there. I'm pretty sure that's 12 volts. I mean, I know it's a 12 volt system. I'm just trying to remember if the voltage is any different right at the brakes, but yeah, you can do that. Okay.
He's also asking what's a good voltage.
12. Well, so for a towable with a battery system, you'd love to see 12.6, 12.7 there. You know, with your batteries, because that means they're fully charged and you're getting there. Anything below 12, that means your batteries, if they're lead acid, are now below 50% operable.
Okay.
So next.
All right. So one of the problems I had while putting it in storage was I removed the battery. Okay, good. But I still had solar power in the back of the trailer, and it was making my carbon monoxide beep.
Is that just a
So I'm curious. I mean, a lot of carbon monoxide detectors are not hardwired. So if it's not hardwired, there's no relation between the two. If it is one that would be hardwired, still, yeah, even if it does depend how your solar controller is hooked up. Typically, you must have the battery in the circuit. Typically, the solar controller is connected to the battery and then the battery to the rest of the coach. So the appliances like a propane detector or a carbon monoxide detector, would once you've disconnected everything from the battery, you wouldn't have that circuit anymore. So typically that would not be the case. All right, you mentioned to not use silicone to reseal the roof. So what do you use to reseal the roof if there are any issues? I'm a big fan of Dicor. So you're looking for what's called is lap sealant. They have self-leveling lap sealant that kind of spreads out over time. And they also have cap sealant. It's kind of the same thing, but it doesn't drip off. And you want to use that along the edges of your roof. Dicor makes really good product. I'm a big fan of theirs. I am not a fan of the stuff they sell at Walmart. I think that's Camco. I don't know that it's any better or worse, but it's horrible to work with. The sashinis. We just had a sashimi crostini tonight. We just made those again tonight. It's like the second time in a week.
They are good. We miss you guys.
Yeah. So with motorhome during winter storage, inside main power switch off, inverter switch off. We have the batteries going dead. Yeah. So if I remember right, you all have lead acid batteries, and lead acid batteries lose half a volt per month. So if they're totally full at 12.7, and you don't touch them for 2 months, you're now going to be at 11.7, which is roughly 35%. And then if it's 3 months, they're going to be dead. You're just not going to get they're going to die. Even if you just had them sitting in a nice controlled space out, in a garage or something.
And AGM batteries are lead acid.
Yes. Yep, she got it. All right. I could on it. We're gonna go up.
Terry still has 2 strands of fairy hair from last year.
That's impressive.
That is.
That was in May. That was last May. That's almost a full year.
It's time for more.
So Bill asks, I could not find any type of electrical shutoff switch, and I was told by Jayco to unhook the circuit breaker up by the battery. So Bill, I'd love to know if you have a travel trailer. If you have a travel trailer, typically there's these little, I hate to go into too much detail without knowing. Put a note on here and we'll come back to it. Tell me what kind of rig you have. Let me see. My water pump quit working. This is Mike. I checked the voltage and got readings of 8.6 to 9 volts going to the pump. Shouldn't there be 12 volts? Yes, there should be 12 volts. I put in a new pump and finished the winterizing. So did you retest it? I mean, because voltage at the pump really doesn't have anything to do with the pump itself, unless it's like 12.6 volts, and then when you start the pump, it drops to 9. That could be the pump not working right either. But if you just test the wires going to the pump and you only had 8.6 to 9.1, that's a wiring or a battery issue or a converter issue. All right.
Oh, they started monthly.
Started monthly. Yeah, I just told you go to lithium. But no, I'm just kidding. Lithium is not the answer for everything. But yeah, if you started monthly and let them charge up. I'm trying to remember what year is their coach. It's around the same as ours, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
If you're getting around that 4-year time frame.
Might be time for new batteries.
Yeah, I mean they'll charge up and die quicker. So Bill, you have a 5th wheel. So they told you to check the circuit breaker near the hitch.
No, near the battery.
Near the battery. Yeah, I mean, so especially in the 5th wheels, there's normally a big red switch that you basically can shut off 12-volt power to the rest of the rig. In some, it's in the battery bay, and others it could be on the wall that's opposite of the battery bay too. Is a lot of times where you find them in 5th wheels.
All right, keep those questions coming.
Yeah, shouldn't be losing already.
Yeah, cold weather will do it too. Will make it worse. And I know how cold it's been up there as well. That is impressive. Must be talking about you.
My fairy hair.
Yeah.
Gary's fairy hair.
All right.
All right. Is that all the questions? I
Those
thought
were
you
good
guys
ones.
would be bombarded.
Those are pretty good ones.
Yeah. I don't think there's any more rolling in.
If anybody is
welcome.
interested, we will be at the New York rally.
Right.
And the Utah rally.
Yes. And I will say that when it comes to all my electrical and everything, they are the only ones that work on my rig. I don't even have my dealership that I bought it from work on it.
Well,
I
thanks.
save it all for Rob.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Joe has another question.
Yes.
I think he's typing. Or maybe
Joe,
we're-
if you go to the message or the comments in the link or in this feed, I actually posted the link in there and again, and it's showing up so you can click it and come online if you want to.
Yeah,
we don't have
and
to type
also
anything.
we'd love to hear from folks too, or through Dawn. Send Dawn feedback not only on this presentation but on any topics you'd like to hear more about at the rallies as well, because we'll typically put together a presentation and something you want to hear about. All right, should I spray something inside the emergency brake thingy? Contact cleaner or something else? So it's a plastic. Typically, it's just a plastic thing that keeps the springs from going. I don't know. I don't know if it's worthwhile to do that. I think if you just test it and exercise it on a regular basis and replace it if it doesn't work, I don't know that I'm going to recommend spraying anything inside there. Where is Calvary Services located? So we are a full-time mobile RV service. So that means we live full-time in our rig. We're in Central Florida for the winter. This year, we're going to make our way up along the East Coast and land in Pennsylvania from about mid-May till the New York rally. And then, there's Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Then we're going to be at the New York rally, and then we're going to start.
This ain't working.
It's working. And then we're going to start working our way out west in a very windy route.
Can you hear us, Joe?
Oh, Carroll Hall is a pinnacle. Nice.
So yeah, but I'm getting like double feedback on everything. I don't know if I did something wrong or what. I was going to be your guinea pig for this thing, but
good. I mean, you sound fine to us, and there's no feedback on our side.
Are you watching the feed while you're talking to us too?
yeah, it's kind of laggy. I'm a few seconds behind.
Yeah, that's why you gotta take the Facebook off and just use the browser link that I sent, and you'll be fine. But
Okay.
Joe, where are you and Terry this winter? Did you go
So
somewhere
we're
warm?
home now. We're in South Carolina.
Okay.
We may take a trip down and try to catch some springs down in Florida this spring, but we're planning a big trip up through New England this summer. We're going to try to hit the New York rally, but I don't know if that's going to work with our time frame or not. So yeah, but we're going to hit all Vermont, Maine, get it all. So yeah.
Yeah, we did Maine this year, and Vermont and New Hampshire. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Mm.
Will we be at Shipshewana? No, we are not going to be at Shipshewana. We're going to leave Utah rally. And Don is a crazy man, and he's going to drive straight to Indiana for that rally.
yeah.
But I believe, Don, you have lots of resources coming to that rally.
It's we had Jayco's there. As the rally gets closer, whoever signed up will be able to submit up to 3 requests for repairs, and Jayco will cover those, or not cover them, but they will repair. The medic will be there this year to do any repairs. They'll be on site. Lippert will be there like last year. BAL slides will be there again. There will be a suspension and brake company there if you want to get anything done. Repack bearings, if you want to switch from drums to discs, you want to upgrade anything in your suspension. So it's going to be a lot of repair services there.
Great
Hey,
to see
Rob,
you.
I was fiddling around trying to get this video to work when you were answering my question. What did you say about spraying something inside?
I'm not going to recommend it. I mean, I think between regular just exercising it and then eventually replacing it. I mean, I think it eventually will need replaced. I don't, to spray something in there and mess with those, the spring loaded item. Just I wouldn't recommend anything.
Okay.
I don't think electrical cleaner would harm it, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay. Thank you.
And I know there's a question whether or not there'll be a replay of the Zoom call, Dawn.
Actually, yes. When this is done, I don't know if it'll be tonight or not, but this will be up on our YouTube channel, the Flocks YouTube channel, so people can go back, listen, and we can get ready for the next one.
Awesome.
If people want them. All right. You all set, Joe?
Yes, sir. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you.
All
I
right.
appreciate you doing this. This was great. Thank you, Rob and Jim.
Yeah, it's great.
Very good, I thought.
I got to start with the best so people know.
Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity. And yeah, we love seeing you guys. And I saw, hope to see you at the Kansas rally. I think we're tentative for the Kansas rally.
Yep.
And then we will not be in Canada. But yes,
we will be in New York and definitely and Utah.
Yep.
I will be at all of them.
Yes, you will.
And I will have my wife in Canada and New York so people can see I actually am married.
Yeah. We've heard that before.
So, anything else from anybody? And like Rob said earlier, if you have any topics or anything you'd like to see done with this actually went pretty smooth except for my microphone in the beginning, but we can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. I hope everybody up in the north stays warm. And
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Spring is right around the corner.
Right.
That's what I keep telling myself. It's been bad this winter.
Yeah.
We had 140 something inches of snow so far this year.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. So just
So you won't be getting to your rig for about 3 months to do any of this.
No, it's there's only like a foot left on the ground. And it would snow and then it would melt, then it would snow and it would melt. So there's only about a foot of snow left. So hopefully I'm thinking by the 1st of April, I can pull it out and start cleaning it and getting it ready and everything else. Now, Bill wants to know if we're playing card bingo.
Yeah, we missed that at the last rally. It sounded like that was a great time.
That was a good time. That was a really good time. Bill, if you would like it, we will play it. I have no problem with that. I do what the people ask because it's your rally and everybody likes different things. So
And
we
then,
will play.
Eliza or I guess that's Eliza. Yeah, they're in Gulf
Elisa.
Elisa.
Elisa, Gulf Shore is awesome. We visited it for the first time 2 years
2
ago,
years ago.
3 years ago, I think now. But it was
Just
awesome.
don't follow her to Bucky's.
Oh, okay. And then, yeah, Carol, if you're going to be in Florida this time of year, if you're going to be in Central Florida, let
Look
us
us
know.
up.
Yeah, we'll be back.
Yep. And 14 inches here in Ohio.
I think we had 14 inches of sunshine.
That's right. I can't even say rain. It hasn't. We're,
No,
we're,
it's
we're
not
in a
rain.
drought here, so it's,
Yeah. No, I enjoyed the weather down there when I was there for the Tampa show. It was really nice.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I got home and I got hollered at because my wife had to shovel
Oh. Uh-oh.
because I didn't show her how to use a snowblower, so she was mad.
Yeah, coincidentally, your wife didn't go with you again.
No, she had to stay home and take care of the dogs
And shovel.
And shovel.
and shovel. Yes. No, she only gets 3 weeks of vacation a year, and it makes it tough to do anything. So,
Like he's in Alabama.
yep.
Ooh, a mile off the lake. Surprised
Wow.
you get internet there with all the snow.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you again for this opportunity.
Yep. I
Again,
think this is a good place to end it. And thank you again. You guys have always been there when I needed you.
Yep.
And thank you. And
All right.
put me on the schedule for New York.
sounds good.
Already did it.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Talk to you guys
Okay.
later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.